Good afternoon.
Well, U.S. President Joe Biden is speaking from the White House right now. Let's listen in.
I spoke with Donald Trump. I'm sincerely grateful that he's doing well and recovering. And we had a short but good conversation. Jill and I are keeping him and his family in our prayers. We also extend our deepest condolences to the family of the victim who was killed. He was a father. He was protecting his family from the bullets that were being fired. And he lost his life. God love him. We're also praying for the full recovery of those who were injured. And we're grateful to the Secret Service agents and other law enforcement agencies and individuals who risked their lives literally for our nation. As I said last night, there is no place in America for this kind of violence or any violence for that matter. An assassination attempt is contrary to everything we stand for as a nation, everything. It's not who we are as a nation. It's not America. And we cannot allow this to happen. Unity is the most elusive goal of all. But nothing is important than that right now, unity. We'll debate and we'll disagree. That's not going to change. But we're going to not lose sight, in fact, who we are as Americans. Look, Vice President Harris and I were just briefed in the Situation Room by my Homeland Security team, including the Director of the FBI, the Secretary of Homeland Security, the Attorney General, the Director of the Secret Service, my Homeland Security Advisor, the National Security Advisor, and we're going to continue to be briefed. The FBI is leading this investigation, which is still in its early stages. We don't yet have any information about the motive of the shooter. We know who he is. I urge everyone, please, don't make assumptions about his motives or his affiliations. Let the FBI do their job and their partner agencies do their job. I'm instructed that this investigation be thorough and swift, and the investigators will have every resource they need to get this done. Look, as this investigation continues, here's what we're going to do. First, Mr. Trump, as a former president and nominee of the Republican Party, already receives a heightened level of security. And I've been consistent in my direction to the Secret Service to provide him with every resource, capability, and protective measure necessary to ensure his continued safety. Second, I've directed the head of the Secret Service to review all security measures for the Republican National Convention, which is scheduled to start tomorrow. And third, I've directed an independent review of the national security at yesterday's rally to assess exactly what happened. And we'll share the results of that independent review with the American people as well. And finally, I'll be speaking more about this tonight at greater length from the Oval Office. We must unite as one nation. We must unite as one nation to demonstrate who we are. And so may God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, when you spoke to President Trump yesterday, what did you tell him and what did he tell you, sir?
Well, you've been listening there to US President Joe Biden. He's been addressing the media in the Roosevelt Room of the White House. Now, he says they've been keeping former U.S. President Donald Trump in their prayers. He sent condolences and well wishes to the victims of the shooting, including the two who remain in critical condition. Joe Biden has said that there is no place in America for this kind of violence, that an assassination attempt like this is contrary to everything that they stand for, that the most important thing right now is unity. He did say that he's received a full briefing alongside VP Kamala Harris with groups and agencies, including Homeland Security, the Secret Service, the FBI, who's leading the investigation. They have no information yet about the motive of the shooter, and he's encouraging people not to make assumptions, but to let the FBI do their job. He's wanting a thorough, swift investigation. He's also saying that they will review all security measures for the upcoming Republican National Convention, as well as conduct an independent review of security at that Saturday rally and make all of that public. He's saying he'll speak a little bit more later on this evening, but he really called strongly there for unity. Well, let's bring in our White House correspondent, Kimberly Halkett. Kimberly, we were expecting to hear from President Biden tonight, and this is a message of unity, which we have actually also heard from President Trump.
Right. A couple things I want to talk about here. I think we need to pick up from what the president had to say there. We can debate and we can disagree. He also said, don't make assumptions about motive or affiliations with respect to the shooter in this case. He also said that he's going to speak from the Oval Office and that we need to unite as one nation. When a president speaks from the Oval Office or when there's an Oval Office address, this is the sort of gravitas that is significance. When presidents speak, these are typically the type of speeches that are reserved for times of war or other types of speeches. They're not normal speeches. They are the most gravest of circumstances, and they are the type of platforms that are only used typically for the most severe of emergencies. That is why this is the type of speech and the type of moment that President Biden feels this platform deserves, and that is why the president did not take questions, I believe, at this time. I know for a fact, because I was with the press pool, as we call it, a select group of reporters that was in the room with the president just now. They had been planning to question the president following his statement. It's clear he had an agenda in mind to just have a brief update following his hours of briefing within the Situation Room with the FBI director, the National Security Advisor, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, as well as the Department of Justice Secretary. Clearly, that was a law enforcement briefing, and he was providing the American public with the bare bones facts that are known thus far. But it is the desire to tone down the temperature, feeling that the rhetoric has become so heightened in America that lives are now at stake, that a current president and a former president's lives are now on the line, that this has risen to a level that there is a need for an Oval Office address, one that typically presidents don't normally make other than in the most gravest of circumstances, that the president is now prepared to make. This is really, I can't underscore, a significant moment in America.
And Kimberly, obviously, so many questions also being asked about the fairly profound security failures that took place. The Secret Service is going to have to explain.
There's no question that that is probably an enormous amount of time that was spent in the Situation Room on just that. And there's going to be an enormous amount of time spent in the U.S. Congress examining just that. We already know the House Oversight Committee has called a hearing into just this. We know the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has said he will hold a series of investigations into this. How this works is that the Secret Service has what's known as a no-fail mission. In other words, the Secret Service's sole job is to put their body in front of the president so that he cannot get even close to a bullet. The fact that the president had a photo, an image that will be indelible for generations of blood and a clenched fist is a massive failure on the part of the Secret Service. That means that they failed to do their job. The fact that there was fumbling, that they were not able to get the president swiftly out of the area is another massive failure on the part of the Secret Service. There will be members of Congress that will be irate, asking, how did this happen? And is there a chance this could happen again? You heard the U.S. president saying there are questions that will need to be asked, an investigation that will be conducted, and an update that will be provided to the American public, given the fact it is their money paying for these services, and they were shortchanged.
White House correspondent Kimberly Halkett there with all the very latest for us, as we've just heard from US President Joe Biden too. Thank you very much, Kimberly.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.